This day in Philly sports history is proud to be a part of the Clashing Conferences Sports Fan Network, where passionate fans make powerful content. Check out theclashingconferences.com and join the squad today. What's up, everyone? Welcome to This Day in Philly Sports History for December 4th, 2025. I'm your host, Jim Montgomery. Welcome to a Thursday edition of the podcast. A very cold Thursday out there, so make sure you're warm. But let's get right into it. And I did get to watch Hard Knocks yesterday, and it was okay. I've never really, other than a couple episodes of the Jets training camp one, never really watched too much Hard Knocks because it's one of those things, quite frankly, yeah, it's entertaining. It's interesting to, I guess, see some of the behind the scenes stuff, but I don't know. It was never really about teams that I cared about. So watching it, I would have liked to have seen more Eagles. It just sucks I guess, time frame that they chose to start it just happened to be after the Cowboys and Bears games, but it was okay. I probably will continue to watch just more so out of curiosity than anything. But I did get one takeaway from that, and I know a lot of people were talking about it. I mentioned it yesterday, but I think it kind of dispelled two myths. Now, I'm going to throw out a caveat here and say, yes, I know it's manipulated. They are able to take whatever footage they're getting and sort of tell a story, tell their narrative. So I get that. But the fact of the matter is, you don't see it all the time because, again, with the narrative piece, cameras are going to pick up what they want to pick up, and then reporters, announcers, whoever, fans are going to create their narrative based on that. But the general feeling, general vibe that always comes out is Jalen sits by himself on the sideline. He's not talking to his teammates. He doesn't, like Donovan, as much as we hated it, always had that stupid smile and be like, my bad, my bad. You don't necessarily see a lot of that out of Jalen. Now, it showed after the pass to Devontae, they talked about it. It was a miss sort of communication. And Jalen said, that's on me. 100% on me. Took accountability for that and explained what he was thinking. Devontae explained what he was thinking. And then after the tush push fumble, took accountability for that. So I think hopefully we can put that to bed. The whole Jalen is not accountable, doesn't talk to his team during the game. But again, that was just one small piece, one small moment in time that the HBO cameras captured. And I do see that people are trying to make a big deal. Oh, Devontae came to him. Okay, but I think, again, hopefully that takes that and puts that to bed so we can focus on the real issue is, why is there miscommunication? Why did he think Devontae was going to stop? Why did Jalen think Devontae was going to turn it? That, to me, is the bigger issue. But like I said, it was okay. I don't know. Lots of cursing, I guess, which, whatever. But it does show that Jalen is just a different kind of person than what like a Dak Prescott is. And that's okay. But you also saw Jalen talking to people and everything during practice. So hopefully that puts it to bed. That was my biggest takeaway. I think from, is the team fixed? Is the team this? No, not one episode of Hard Knocks. But it does kind of show me that they are working to try to get out of whatever funk they're in. So they returned to practice today. Hopefully we get some good news from an injury standpoint. I'm not really sure if there's too many injuries at all. So you got that going for you. I think everybody's a little banged up and nicked up, but no real major injuries. Kevin Petula did speak to the media yesterday, said he's not going to the booth, said he likes being able to communicate with the players and everything. And I guess this is something that Nick Foles said. He said he hasn't been in the booth since he's been with the Eagles. So I guess that kind of puts that narrative to bed as well, saying, well, that's what he's used to. I guess he's never been in the booth. So I guess we can forget about that. Justin Herbert, I heard this morning, he and Jim Harbaugh both are saying they're optimistic he's going to play. Vic Fangio said they're preparing as if Justin Herbert is going to play. How effective he's going to be, that's going to be the big question. But Kyle and I will give you a full breakdown of that, recap the Black Friday massacre on the Brotherly Birds breakdown tonight. So that should be out about halftime of the Cowboys-Lions game, which cannot wait to watch that game. It's a huge, huge game as far as the Eagles go. So we'll be watching that tonight, but new Brotherly Birds breakdown will be out later tonight. So stay tuned for that. And it was fun while it lasted. His wife was all over Twitter saying, thanks for the love, this, that, and the other. But Darius Slay did not pass through waivers. He was picked up by Buffalo, so he will not be coming back to be CB2. So I guess it was fun while it lasted. Speaking of fun, the Flyers, good win over the Buffalo Sabres yesterday, 5-2. 5 different players scored goal. Matvei Mishkov and Travis Sinham both had 2 assists, but the Flyers, I was kind of watching this, was looking at some things, doing some research and whatnot, and had it on in the background. 3 goals in 59 seconds for the Flyers. This team is fun, and that's what you want right now. And the impact that Zegras has made is outstanding. Hopefully that could be a piece going forward, but Flyers beat the Sabres 5-2 last night. And then down at the X tonight, the Sixers are back in action, welcoming Steph Curry, Draymond Green, Jimmy Butler, and the Golden State Warriors. No Joe tonight. He's listed as doubtful, but that doesn't mean anything considering he was listed as out against the Hawks and ended up playing, which that move did cost the Sixers $100,000. So they've been fined for not playing Joe, and now they've been fined for playing Joe. Can't win. See how tonight plays out, but I feel like I have something coming up soon with Joe and that whole thing. But looking forward to it. Sixers are must watch, especially against Steph Curry. So looking forward to that game tonight down at the X. Yesterday's trivia question. Speaking of those Sixers, we talked about the Sixers finally winning their first game in 2014, and I asked you, who was the leading scorer for the 2014 Sixers? Kind of a trick question. From a pure points per game standpoint, it was Tony Wroten, who averaged 16.9 points in 30 games. Wouldn't have been enough to qualify for anything, but still a good 30-game stretch by Tony Wroten, who I feel is kind of one of those quintessential process players. Michael Carter Williams averaged 15 points per game in 41 games. Again, not enough really to qualify. But of the regulars who played the most games, Robert Covington averaged 13.5 points in 70 games, starting about half of them. So thank you to everybody who reached out with that. We had some fun going back and forth, reliving the glory days of the process. All right, be sure to follow me on social media at Philly Jimbo. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, Jimbo_Mont, and continue to spread the word as we grow this thing. Subscribing to the YouTube channel, you can get notified as soon as the Brotherly Birds breakdown drops. And again, comment, review, like, subscribe, all that stuff helps us as we try to outsmart the algorithm. And then we are smack dab in the middle of our 3rd annual gift and food drive benefiting the Mattie N Dixon Community Cupboard in Ambler. Reached out. We've already raised enough to give $200 worth of Target gift cards. I'm going to drop that off later today. So thank you for all your contributions for that. Still time to donate. If you go to any of my social media, the QR code is there. Some people had some issues with the QR code. Reach out to me. I can shoot you the direct link to donate. But whatever's donations come in now, I will use to buy food and supplies that they need. But thank you so much. Excited to give $200 worth of gift cards to them to help spread some holiday magic this season for those in need. And we're going to continue with our reverse advent calendar. Again, to make up for the weekend, there's 2 items today. That's aluminum foil and taco kits, kind of the all-in-one, what is it, Old El Paso with the shells, the mix, the sauce, everything in. So taco kits and aluminum foil are today's reverse advent calendars of the day. And we might as well get into it with a random act of kindness. Today, send some flowers, treats, cookies, candy, a card, an encouraging note. If you really have time and want to go and take the kids, go visit like a nursing home or a VA hospital. And sometimes those people in those places don't have any visitors. So just something small like that, as simple as a note. Again, if you do have the time to go in, it'd be awesome. Take your kids with you, have them read them a story. I remember we used to do that in elementary school at the VA hospital. So whatever you can do to help spread some holiday cheer to those in the nursing homes or VA hospitals is it's simple, it's easy, and it makes a world of difference. Whether you're coaching Little League, crushing your fantasy league, or just rolling up to a bachelor party like a Philly legend, Lotwin Custom Hype Chains bring the energy. Fully customizable, totally unforgettable, and guaranteed to turn you into the MVP of the moment. Great for teams, groomsmen, or anyone who wants to show off with some serious swagger. Go to Lotwin.com, use the promo code TCCPOD, and get 10% off your own custom hype chain. Lotwin, let's get hyped together. All right, December 4th. First, we're going to go back to 1960, and the Eagles traveled to St. Louis and left with a 20-6 win over the Cardinals. Norm Van Brocklin threw for 2 touchdowns, one to Pete Retzlaff, the other to Tommy McDonald, and the defense held tough, holding the Cardinals to 190 total yards, had 2 interceptions as the Eagles clinched their 4th NFL East Division title in 14 seasons. 4th time going to the NFL championship game in 14 seasons. They improved their record to 9-1. 2 games left in the season, so they had time to sort of rest and prepare for the NFL championship. Although back then, I don't think those guys were resting. I think they were going full force for those final 2 games. They were awaiting the winner of the NFL West, which was coming down to the Packers and the Lions, who both got hot down the stretch, but it was the Packers who the Eagles would face in the 1960 NFL Championship. But on this day in 1960, Eagles clinched the NFL East Division for the 4th time in 14 years, going back to the NFL Championship, looking for their 3rd championship win for the Eagles. And then fast forward all the way to 2006, the Eagles season was teetering on the brink as they welcomed the Panthers in for Monday Night Football. I remember this game very, very well. I feel like I say that a lot, but very good memory when it comes to games. But they were tied 24-24 after Jeff Garcia threw a touchdown pass to Reggie Brown. And then on the ensuing possession, Brian Dawkins intercepted Jake Delhomme and set up the David Akers game-winning field goal that sealed the 27-24 win for the Eagles. However, Carolina wasn't done. They were driving, moving the ball well against the Eagles' defense. Lito Shepherd sealed it with an interception in the end zone, setting off, oh my goodness, I can't remember his name now, but just looked like it could have been a push-off, was able to be acrobatic and get Keyshawn Johnson. How could I forget? Setting off Keyshawn Johnson, who threw his helmet, but sealed the win for the Eagles as they moved to 6-6, and they were still alive for the NFC East title, but they had, not even sure how this happens, but they had 3 straight road NFC East games Jeff Garcia was magic in this game, though, throwing for 312 yards, 3 touchdowns, as the Eagles improved to 6-6 with a 27-24 win over the Panthers, getting ready for that gauntlet. 3 straight NFC East road games. People would be freaking out if something like that happened today. But that does lead us directly into our Throwback Thursday for today, brought to you by Philly Goat. Go to phillygoat.com. Get your holiday shopping done. They have all kinds of stuff for everybody in the family. Mom, dad, brothers, sisters, kids, wife, grandma, aunts, uncles, whoever. Go to Philly Goat. Use that promo code Jim Montgomery to take 10% off. And you roughly got about 7 days or so. There's a countdown on the website to guaranteed delivery by Christmas. But we're going to take a look today at that 2006 Eagles season. That was when Donovan went down with a torn ACL. While the team was 5-5, they went 1-1 with Jeff Garcia as the starter, including the aforementioned game against the Panthers. But Jeff Garcia, starting with this Panthers game, got hot, led the Eagles to 5 straight wins. They ran the table on the road in the NFC East, winning 3 straight road NFC East games, which is it's tough to win 3 straight road games, period, let alone inside your division. But Jeff Garcia got it done. They clinched the NFC East in that 5th straight win at home against the Falcons on New Year's Eve. Again, another game I remember very well. They would go on to beat the Giants in the wild card round at home as David Akers hit a 38-yard field goal as time expires. And then they traveled down to New Orleans for the divisional round. Lost a heartbreaker to the Saints 27-24. That was the game where Brian Westbrook kind of emerged as a stud running back. The Sheldon Brown hit on Reggie Bush. During that season, though, Brian Westbrook had his first 1,000-yard rushing season. Also led the team with 77 receptions. Garcia, though, was the story down the stretch, filling in very admirably for Donovan McNabb, who tore his ACL. And truthfully, for years to come, every time there was an Eagles quarterback injury, even going into like the mid 2010s, everybody was saying, hey, give Jeff Garcia a call. But that was a fun season, one that we needed after the bounce back or after the collapse of 2005 with the whole TO saga. Then we were kind of disappointed that Donovan went down, but Jeff Garcia, that Jeff Garcia magic, winning the game in Dallas on Christmas. And he said, Merry Christmas, Philadelphia, as the Eagles do rise from the ashes to win the NFC East in 2006. That is Throwback Thursday, brought to you by Philly Goat. Go to phillygoat.com. Use the promo code Jim Montgomery to take 10% off of your order. Still time to guarantee delivery for Christmas. And then finally today, we're going to go back to 2022. The Titans came to Philly and the Eagles beat them down 35-10. Jalen Hurts threw for 380 yards, 3 touchdowns, ran one in. A.J. Brown, 119 yards and 2 touchdowns in his revenge game, his first game against his former team. Devontae Smith had 102 yards and a touchdown. Defense had 6 sacks, including 2 by Josh Sweat, as the Eagles moved to 11-1, and they were rolling at this time, going all the way to the Super Bowl before that disappointing loss to the Chiefs. But on this day, 35-10, Eagles beat the Titans in 2022. Jalen Hurts had himself a game. A.J. Brown with the revenge game against his former team could use some of that magic this Monday night out in L.A. And then finally, our trivia question, going back to those 2006 Eagles. What 3 quarterbacks threw touchdown passes for the Eagles in 2006? You should know 2 of them off the top of your head, but who was the 3rd quarterback to throw a touchdown pass for the 2006 Eagles? Hit me up on the Back to the Future voice and text line, 267-495-8531. Let's have some fun today on a Throwback Thursday. Give me your favorite 2006 Eagle memory, whatever you got to do, and who threw or what 3 quarterbacks threw touchdown passes for the Eagles in 2006. On this day in 2022, Eagles beat the Titans 35-10. A.J. Brown with 2 touchdown receptions against his former team. On this day in 2006, Eagles beat the Panthers in a thriller on Monday Night Football at the Link. Lito Shepherd sealed it with an interception in the end zone, causing Keyshawn Johnson to throw his helmet and freak out at the referee on this game. And then in 1960, Eagles win the NFL East Division for the fourth time in 14 season, securing a spot in the NFL championship game. We will have more on the Eagles tomorrow as they get back in practice. We should have a clearer picture from an injury standpoint. But as I said, it does look like Justin Herbert's going to play. How well he's going to do, I don't know. Kind of reminds me, and I don't know if anybody else remembers this. I'm going to go on one of my little soliloquies here. But I remember it was like the late 80s, early 90s, and for the Chiefs, Steve DeBerg was the quarterback, and he had a broken hand or something, but he had like this club almost on his non-throwing hand. I might not be remembering the specific injury, but just remember like couldn't grab the ball, but he was able to be successful for the Chiefs. So hopefully, though, you're not going to see any of that on Monday night. Still time to donate to the gift and food drive. We're about a week left in that. Thank you to everybody who's donated so far. I truly, truly appreciate it. I'll let you know the reaction when I drop off the gift cards later today. But don't forget as well, the Brotherly Birds breakdown will be out tonight. We'll get you ready for the Eagles Chargers on Monday night out in LA, which could be a semi-home game. I know one of the, I forget which group, but there's a trip going out to LA this weekend to see the Eagles Chargers play. So let's go Birds. This has been This Day in Philly Sports History for December 4th, 2025. My name is Jim Montgomery. Go have yourselves a Thursday. Stay warm. And until next time, I'll see you when I see you.